living a lie, you can make it if you try. No, I heard them say, life much better, you live it your own way. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say, life much better, you live it your own way.
Greetings and welcome to Context Matters. Today is May 14th. The month is flying by so fast. I wonder why. If you're joining me from Reggae Global Radio Wagwan, the time is 5:03. If you're joining me from Best FM 100, the time is 4:03. And if you're joining me from YouTube and TikTok, good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the truth behind the lies, excuses versus reality. And I need to set the foundation for this, but what I really want to say is, life has a way of pretty much working itself out. You really don't have to kill up yourself about anything, because in time the truth reveals all. So if you need to vindicate yourself, vindication will come, even sometimes after you are no longer here on earth. One of the realities that we have to face is that, bittersweet lies or sweet lies is much more palatable to people, because people like to say, lie to me, I promise I'll believe, rather than facing the truth that, truth can be a heavy pill to swallow sometimes. Now, I want to talk about Jamaica experienced trauma last year. We're not strangers to trauma. Jamaicans are not strangers to trauma. And I'm talking in particular. No, I'm not talking about the elections and the result of the elections. I'm actually talking about Hurricane Melissa. The narratives shape the way how people respond to trauma. Whatever the news puts out, whatever is said in the news, whatever people hear, their emotions respond to however the narrative is painted. And if you were born in the 70s or the 80s, when Jamaica had one TV station, even before CVM, we're talking about JBC, they used to have these commercials that says 10 cents a day could save a child. And then they would show you all these African children. I really think it was just Somalia. And the child would have flies pitching on them and the belly bang. And right thereafter, you would just want to assist and pay the 10 cents a day to save the child's life, wondering if that ever happened. And that was the basis of charity and some of the greatest organizations in the world would tell you to donate to them. I could take it one step further and tell you that PETA, which deals with the animals, pets, they care about animals more than human beings, because that's their mandate. So however people, some Mr. Jeffrey and a lawyer, no, I'm not in the swimming pool, so evidence is here. Yeah, but then you would have people that say, listen, it's what we tell you to believe and is what we want you to care about that we care about, even in the news. For instance, if a child in the ghetto is missing, if the news don't carry it in a way that makes you care, it's just another child missing, and we have a monument, a statue downtown that have names of missing children. It's so much of them. You sometimes stop and wonder how did one of them ever become famous in Jamaica. Same thing when domestic violence, when violence is meted out against women in this country, it seems like they only highlight the beautiful ones, the dainty ones, the vavavoons, the popular ones. And even when disrespect is meted out, it is only the power dynamics that people care about. So it's never the human element. It is the who, not the fact that something happened. It's the who. And we often wonder when is it time to care, and what are we looking at, and what do we look to. So for myself, I can recommend that if you live your life in a free and democratic society, a third world country that thinks it's so much greater than it really is right now, then you would accept that it is the Constitution that is your only protection from the ills of probably not being the beautiful one. So when something happens to you, nobody cares, or somebody will care because you fall into the category of who you should care about. So when sons and daughters of Jamaica die, who is it that who are the ones when they die that they care about? And then it dawned on me, um, before the show, I woke up one day and there was just this beautiful, I want to say she's black and probably Chinese, just extremely beautiful woman, came from America. I'm not in the house. I think I can say America because America is bad English. But yes, she come from America, foreign, big foreign too, not Caribbean, big foreign, the place where Trump run over there. So, and she come down to Jamaica to celebrate her birthday. Beautiful, by any standard. Um, Lisa Hanna standard, Miss World, Miss Universe. Nice flowing hair and slanted eyes, beautiful complexion, everything physical attributes so perfect. And she comes to Jamaica and she stayed at an Airbnb. Airbnbs is the things that the government during the election would have promised not to tax, but it's taxed now. So I'm trying to get you to understand what we're talking about. So yeah, she was staying in an Airbnb, and then she had a boyfriend who is her husband. So I guess this is a one of those 90-day fiance thing that wasn't working out. So I guess the green card never did come fast enough because here's this youth that allegedly beat her up, and if you want to say kidnap, and then drop her off at this is the laughable part, at Cornwall Regional Hospital. Now, if you live in Jamaica, you know if nothing do you, showing up at the hospital is not a place to go because you're gonna die. One, them not gonna just check you in because nobody wants to take blame for death. And in these circumstances, I don't even know what to tell you. But I have in previous times spoken about causation. And but for the man who claimed to be her husband, but the sister said it's not the husband, and there's a 780,000 reward and probably reach more for the the man turning himself in. And I'm just in awe because you see our police force that don't use body cams because they have super intelligence and is able to find you at 3 a.m. in the morning and have a shootout with you, especially if you're 18, 17, 16, and careless, you'll end up with a gun and you'll end up dead, allegedly. I don't know how they don't find this man yet. Perhaps because he didn't use a gun, allegedly. I don't know. But so many things wrong with the system because you're beaten and you can't get the assistance to save your life from trauma. In first world countries, you could be crushed by a hit by a subway train and then pop up on the tarmac or what they call it, and the plane wheel run over you, and then they drop you at Kings County Hospital in New York, and the doctor says stat, and then Grey's Anatomy and all of these things come into play, and then sew you up back, stitch you up back, and then they say sign the document. And when you sign the document, you hear say you have bionic hand and bionic foot, and you're just alive, because life is so important to people in the first world countries that even when the doctor says, "But doc, it says do not resuscitate," and it's shut up, I'm willing to lose my license. They gotta live. You got to live. One more time, shock. And they shock you, and you wake up and you have bionic green eyes with X-ray vision and frostbite and all of these things. In America Hospital, not the Jamaican ones, but you see the America Hospital, you're not gonna dead. You don't believe me? Let me show you how them love life in America. So there's this guy called himself Julio Coolio Fulio. Now, when I was growing up, Coolio was the guy that says, keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Yeah, and he had that song. He did the soundtrack for Michelle Pfeiffer's movie where she was some white teacher that went into a ghetto school, and she was not afraid of the black kids, and she got them to learn. That was such a movie because that didn't happen in real life, right? But anyway, so this Julio Fulio, who was probably related to Coolio, because Coolio had the braids and then he had the locks. So it's clearly they're related. This is America. Anything is possible. Now, Sean and his friends and the girlfriend and everybody, one cousin and a friend of Coolio, and Fulio, let me not mix it up. Fulio is the raps about unaliving a cousin of the four men, and the men were upset. And then there was a video where the friends of Fulio went and spit on the grave and urinate on the grave of the young man that they killed after a football game in America. So these guys came together and they said, we can't have that, our homie, yeah, take that, bad boy for life. And they just decide that they're going to trail him. And so they use all the smart technology, like you go on TikTok and you go on Instagram and you try to find somebody's location and the geotagging and the mapping and all of that. And then you borrow your mama's car and your uncle's firearm. And then you take your girlfriend and borrow her phone. And then you go and, scout out and then you do all the things just like Grand Theft Auto and, geo map, tag everything, sync phone, go to the Airbnb, set up so the getaway driver, and then they unalive Fulio Julio, the rapper guy. Yeah, so in 2024. Now, see if they're in Jamaica, all of them are gonna get unalive because no state waste trial, money upon trial again, extrajudicial killings just would have just take them out. But in America, because they love life, they don't unalive them because they need to have these massive state trials so the lawyers can get lots of money through legal aid, and then they put it on the court because in America, the judges get to be on TV and they get to say, I'm sustaining that objection. No, you can't do that. And then in the girl case now, she was like, I'm just a girl in the world. I'm just a girl in the world. And then that girl now, she gets a separate trial. So she's not tried in the same case where her phone was used and things, and they follow him state to state to get to unalive Julio, which they get to do. So she gets a separate trial, and that judge was accused of bias because it was just black lawyers and she was a white judge, and then she was favoring the prosecution. And because it's America, you know what they do? They kick the judge off the case because the judge was biased. Because America believes in these things, right? So how intriguing that stuff was. So when they do that now, it was just so intriguing because the girl is now, she get found guilty of manslaughter. So while the other guys, they get found guilty and now they're facing the death penalty. So I raise it because all of this thing gets to be on TV and it's thing, and they're gonna do a movie about 20 years from now, and some actor from England, they're gonna play the gangsters because that's what they do. You know, you got British accent, and then you get an Oscar for using American language, but you were raised in England, London, you know, that kind of thing. So the mother, I think the guy's name is Sean. So Sean he's one of the superstars that came out of this case. This case is in America though, okay? So don't forget that. And what happens from there is, what happens from there is the mother is now testifying at the sentencing because they want to give all of them the death penalty, except the girl, because she had a separate trial and a judge that was biased. And in America, when judges are biased, they kick them off. They don't care if they're white because justice must be seen to be done. They don't play that stuff. You understand? So anyway, the mother is now saying that's not the way, how the prosecutor is painting my son. That's not my son. So here is it. She have a son that I guess she never raised. You know, all mothers come to court and say them son cool. It's like the worst testimony that can come from anybody in court is when your mother who birthed you come and say, you's a good boy and you never do nothing wrong yet. It's almost like I don't know why lawyers tell somebody mother to come to court and put the mother in the stand to say, he's a good youth. My son is a good youth. If them saying do it because him father they beat me up. And that's why, but him good. He was the man of the house. Every mother says that. Unless she get to go on TVJ and get the bite of the week and say, me glad the son, me glad the police them analyzing him did not go on too bad. Me can get the reward money. Because every now and then one of those mothers pop up. So I'm only telling you all of this because when the system works, a lot of stuff gets ventilated, including if the persons aren't who they say they are, they'll be found not guilty. And the system that works also means that when they are found guilty, they have the appellate process. And if the truth comes out before the death penalty, we don't have the death penalty in Jamaica. Well, it's on the books. And maybe I should bring a private motion in Parliament and have to ask them to remove the death penalty because it's just there and it's unconstitutional in any event. You know, it's repugnant to human rights. So when we think about that now, we get a clear understanding of why you need a functioning justice system that starts with um, officers respecting the Constitution. Um, and I mean, the commissioner of police is trying, he's actually said to the police officers, stop taking the phones away from citizens and demanding passwords and trying to get into the phone without a court order. So having it's painstaking to have to be saying to people, um, respect the Constitution, but then it's difficult to get people to respect the Constitution when the people at the top don't respect the Constitution. Serial breaches of the Constitution is the order of the day because the conversations about how the Constitution work is people hardly have it. So it's a difficult task or an uphill battle sometimes to get people to appreciate that. So having said that now, you see, everything I said a while ago is about systems. And everything when it comes to systems, the purpose of systems is that it's supposed to function so that society can work. So the systems are in place to facilitate, improvement and advancements of the citizens of every country. The systems are supposed to work in such a way that through diplomatic channels, we would be citizens of the world. We shouldn't have to wait until Mars is fully populated and Neptune and Jupiter, um, the people that live over there start to come over. But we're not getting so civilized. They look down and watch us, see us killing and unaliving ourselves so much that they say, no, we're not good at so. We don't want them tell we to go up in the truck back. We don't want to do that. We don't know what kind of rights them are defend down there, so them just leave it. Yeah, yeah. And Jamaica don't sit isolated when it comes to violation of rights. What Jamaica does though is be, have a nuanced political loyalty that takes place, that politicians, if they like you, you do no wrong. And you get away with a lot of oompy scumpy behavior. In England right now, in the UK, they go through prime ministers like people use highlighter. And if them not like what you do, the ministers they do what they just depart from you and they put the no confidence and that. Here in Jamaica, it's a different thing because we're a small island, and because of that reality, we find that what would I say? Because of that reality, small island behavior, we tend to find that people really not dealing with whether things are acceptable or not. They just do what they have to do because people are surviving. People are doing everything they need to do to survive, and we have to respect that. We have to appreciate that, and we not feel no way about it whatsoever. We just know say people are stay alive as best as them can, and them do what them doing. So that's that. So anyway, notwithstanding, let me tell you what else that I want to talk about. ISAT is what the Babylon trying with Corey. What the Babylon trying with Earth. I don't even know what that is. All right. So anyway, so again, let me just say where we're going now, having laid the foundation. Now, Melissa took place last year, some 7 months ago. yeah, about 7 months plus, right? And the world responded, and I think they responded favorably too. I think the world decided that, listen, um, we need to help Jamaica. Jamaica needs help. We need to make sure that we help Jamaica. And that's what happened. Billions of dollars was spent by people. So when I say spent, they gave it to the country. Because when you're giving, donating, you're spending your money for it to be spent on particular things. So choose Jamaica. It's a slang from the Jamaica Labour Party where they say choose Jamaica, the island. So you put Jamaica first. And the concept is that you choose Jamaica, the development, the upliftment of the island, representation, all of that for Jamaica. And the people, I guess they get in and they fit wherever they fit. However you call it, they fit wherever they fit. The problem with that is, listen, money it coming like when you did young and your granny they are foreign and your birthday come and she send $10 in a one card for your grandson. But still I want my mother and father for that, cause my granny used to send me my $10 for my birthday, and another $10 for Christmas. And then name give me, Can I say name? Let me check the standing orders for that. But yeah, and them always cough the money and you don't get the money. Well, that's just what happened in Jamaica. Because imagine all these people hear the stories and hear the cries of the people of Jamaica and the money sent, not just for Melissa, but for Beryl. And they did not spend the money. And they said bureaucracy. But they were telling people, because they tell people, give to the government, don't give to nobody. So when people are beg not for themselves, but for the people who need it. And the best way for people to get assistance is when it is spread widely. Anytime you centralize, the opportunity for persons to be disenfranchised is there. And I recall I stood up in Parliament and I said, equitable distribution is the order of the day. Not equal distribution, equitable distribution. Very important and very significant. And it meant, but there was a narrative being spun. And that narrative was only the West was damaged, and only a certain amount of parishes were affected. Nobody. I mean, people were saying that absolutely nobody in Portland was affected. People actually were saying that. Yeah. So many people, and then comes the statistics start to come out, and they said billions spent here and this money spent there and that. But the reality is, Auditor General do her real-time audit, and guess what happened? $26 million spent out of $1.44 billion. Casually, just a little 26. 7 months pass. So just $26 million spent. And it's so the people, So the people forget food and little zinc and little shelter, and people them did have to wait how much months. I don't want to say me I laugh, But I sit down and I said life is funny, Because let me tell you something. People have needs every single day. And if you in Jamaica, not about the people them where they are America, although the people them where they are America, do them things. But let this sink in. The Chief Justice of this country, the Governor General of this country, the leader, well, I never know if I can say the leader of opposition and the Prime Minister. But 26 million, if I'm right, is less than the people, than those persons' salary. Just appreciate that. Yeah? Let that sink in. And more so, it is a hard pill to swallow. It is an unfortunate reality because there are so many people that need help. And I can tell you, like I said, I never want to laugh, but there was a program called the Solidarity Program, and it took the people of Jamaica. And let me just speak for Portland Eastern because my facts are there. So many people signed up to be a beneficiary for $20,000. I can imagine you sign up for $20,000 from September, some people from July, and then they get that money till last month, probably. Can you imagine that? $20,000. And the needs, you think JPS and Flow and Digicel and Water Commission, well, the NWC, however they want him, you think them I go tell you say, no wait till the little money come. Those bills are coming. Sure. One thing about them bills there, it'll come with the time and the hour. Them bills they're not coming like Jesus. Yeah? And say, you're laughing at me, but for some strange reason from my ear, say you can't talk patois. Patois, not Spanish, not all these languages that are recognized language. From my ear, say you can't talk patois. Me feel like all me I do a chat patois, and my patois not even good. But what has been to my astonishment, I've never walked around saying I speak the best English, but I can tell you, my brothers and sisters of Jamaica, I know everybody can chat English. So it's embarrassing when people say speak English because some of them when the mic turn on and them the words coming out of their mouth. Embarrassing. Yeah? So Patois is not even a recognized language for you to say you can't speak it, because even when they're in there and them turn on the mic, it's Patois them talking because they're not speaking English. Because people put H where it's not supposed to be it. People put teeth and things. If worse, if them tongue lisp or them have space in them teeth, them have speak a language that is not English. Yeah, some of them speak like some of them speak like I do. It's not speaky spokey, and I'm not criticizing and I'm not making fun of anybody. But if Patois has not been recognized as a language, but understand it's a local dialect, that standing orders doesn't say that your dialect is a form. It would also mean that when somebody from Ireland comes into the parliament, they would not be speaking English because they speak exactly like they come from St. Elizabeth. Where the other country people, because we can't even use Portland. Portland people, them so speaky spokey at Portland. It don't apply to Portland. But I've been some places and when them say him. Yeah, so one wonders. So why English is the main language in schools? Because we're an English-speaking country. But I can tell you one thing: I don't know one smaddy that leave the university and never get to leave because them you know have to write your exam them in a standard English. And I know, and right now in schools, I've toured many schools. I don't think the teachers that are teaching are speaking standard English. But that's another thing. The reality of it though is if you can speak English, it would be good to articulate yourself as best as you can, because That's what the standing order says. When you follow the standing orders, you don't have to. But also a part of expression, which I've found and context oftentimes matters, is that when you are when you are expressing yourself and you're speaking to a particular audience, especially in a conversation about culture, it is somewhat I don't even know. How do you hit home the mark? Well, I can't even say how you do. How do you? Because I think that Nikisha Birchall, despite not being able to go into the dialect. By the way, I don't think she can speak patois. We'd have to get Faye Ellington and well, Miss Lou is dead and is not yet a national hero. And we can see why the hate for patois is real. So one wonders. But standard English is there are people who live in England that don't speak proper English. So you must know how. I know I'm not trying to give joking. I'm just having the conversation about this, and one wonders. But it's about language. But I've also, I mean, interpretation is also important. What I will say though is perhaps we should now revisit the standing orders and do two things. If you can't speak English, you should not be able to be a member of parliament. Because English is our language, the abuse and misuse of the English language should disqualify you to be a member of parliament. So when you come with that country bunking, fumbling over your words and you don't know the difference between there and there, and you even when you're talking, you're going over, you're mispronouncing right and right. Yes, that it is preposterous. I mean, I sit, from me personally from Upper St. Andrew, I'm appalled sometimes when people are speaking. And I said, what is that? I am completely flabbergasted. Me, myself, with my 86 subject and my 32 degrees, I could never. And so when I heard them, I said, I can't continue. So for me, it is important to understand. Look, somebody say foolishness. For them, they don't know sarcasm, but we understand that. But what we have to do is to, respect for the standing orders is important. But as we review, we have to look to see whether we are really making a fool of ourselves. That's simply what it is. But if English is the language that we must speak, and there are people who are not managing with the language, and I say this with the greatest amount of respect. If you're not managing, then probably you don't have the capacity. Because if you're in a space where the requirement is the English language, I guess people is gonna say it's the best you can do with the language. But patois is not a language that is far removed from the English language. In fact, there are some deep patois, but most people who speak patois, you know what I'm saying. And depending on the region, I think the only scary part of the patois is when people saying him, and him is actually her. But you get it. Not going to dwell on that too much because, as I said, the standing orders, they are to be respected. And again, as I see in the comments, people are saying, but the speaker allowed the person to speak in Spanish. Well, Minister Terry Long, who is the, I guess, state minister in foreign affairs, he speaks multiple languages, and it is good when people can speak multiple languages. The standing order says the language is in English, but you can seek permission. So again, if you follow the standing orders, one would ask, had Nikisha Burchell sought permission from the speaker and not get it, then the conversation would be, but you allowed one member to speak Spanish when they ask for permission. But I always say context matters. And you have some people who they want to selectively call upon the standing orders. I can tell you there's standing order number 40 says members should shut their mouth. Think if we should shut up and be quiet during debates when the speaker is on the floor, and don't heckle like you're in a marketplace and be disgusting and depending on the speaker, misogynistic, be, or feminist, or just totally disrespectful and cackle and heckle and distract like you're in a classroom. There's a standing order. I think that's the standing order that the speaker is to enforce. But you see, that's why you must know what's in the standing order. So when I speak on June 23rd, the first thing I'm going to say is Madam Speaker. And I hope it's Madam Speaker, because you know Madam Speaker is my favorite in the house. I'm going to say, Madam Speaker, I ask you to protect me on a standing order 40. And please do not let these unruly pickaninnies. Can you say pickaninnies? Is that patois? Is that English? Yes. Do not let these unruly pickaninnies disrupt me when I'm doing the nation's business representing human rights and youth, in particular the people of Portland Eastern and anybody else that need help. Protect me from these pickaninnies, these Lego beasts, these non-English speakers at that. For I can speak English. I've presented myself before the Privy Council, before Lord Reed and others, and they understood my language. I do not fall in the category of a non-speaker. How dare you, Krasmite? Yes, anyway, so you get the point. But like I said, in time, we have to find the truth behind the lies, because you see, it's always a message that is important. And I think that we are missing that so much. Whenever somebody says the first, them say one of the opposition accept the standing orders. And they like to paint with a broad brush. You know why they paint with a broad brush? Because you have issues with understanding that it's the silver and gold will vanish away, but a good education will never decay. Remember, some of us actually have a profession. But anyway, let me leave that alone. Which media house getting those government contracts, I said? I don't know anything about that, Let me tell you something. While it is that I am in the Parliament of Jamaica, one thing I don't do is waste my time with because media houses have to sell news and sell paper. That's how them get them paid. Like how bloggers have to blog, TikTokers have to tick and talk to get paid. So doesn't matter who getting contracts and who doing what. I don't know. Those things don't change my life. I can tell you what. It's only $26 million spent out of the money where the whole America and the whole of the rest of the world give to Jamaica. That is embarrassing. And that's something that we should stop and think about. But just so people don't say it's hearsay, me a hearsay, make I share with you two things that I find to be of importance at this particular time.
Troubling gaps in Jamaica's hurricane relief management. This as it found despite billions of dollars in donation after Hurricane Melissa, only a fraction has been spent, sending red flags over how the funds are being managed.
The latest Auditor General's report has found that of the $1.44 billion donated for Hurricane Melissa relief, only 1.8% or $26 million has so far been spent. That money, it says, went solely to roofing materials. Meanwhile, leftover funds from Hurricane Beryl of over 138.8 million Jamaican dollars and 100,000 US dollars remain untouched. The report notes that the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, had no expenditure plan, leaving aid idle while citizens waited for relief. The audit also revealed that millions were withheld by a financial services institution, some 15.7 million Jamaican dollars and nearly 300,000 US dollars. There was no formal contract. Transfers were delayed and the Auditor General could not confirm if the money ever reached ODPEM's accounts. This, as the report reminds, that the audit is one aimed at retaining transparency in the use of the funds and ensuring accountability as the government embarks on several projects under the recently passed NARA. But there was more. The roof restoration program also came under fire. The report notes that $34 million in roofing materials has been delivered without signed receipts. It found that payment records for contracts worth over $100 million were missing. This, as ODPEM says, 421 roofs were repaired, but auditors found no clear beneficiary verification and no completion reports. Also under the microscope, the National Disaster Fund. The audit concluded that the NDF, Jamaica's safety net, is not compliant with the law. It shared the fund had no designated bank account. As such, the report continued, the funds are mixed with other projects. Additionally, it notes required annual reports and statements of accounts have not been prepared from as far back as 2018. As of February, the fund held $163 million in cash and $293 million in investments. Despite this, the Auditor General says oversight remains weak. The Auditor General concluded that weaknesses in financial management and governance threaten Jamaica's disaster response. The report urges ODPEM to act immediately with a clear expenditure plan, a dedicated account for the disaster fund, and formal agreements with partners. Without swift reforms, the Auditor General notes donor trust and public confidence could erode, leaving Jamaica vulnerable when next a storm hits.
Let me just make something clear. It speaks for itself. And then you do, I think it's Senator Marlon Morgan's response is that this highlights the need for NARA. And because, you know, at some point, as I tell you, the truth behind the lies, excuses versus reality. This is not a political conversation. This is right and wrong, you know. There is no excuse that can be given that $1.44 billion is sent to Jamaica for the Jamaican people. I'm going to say not just the Jamaican people, poor people, black people will look like me. Nose big. You see me, I say forehead big. We ugly. Yeah, like me. Where we need help. And them always are saying if we go look at work. And then when them don't know what sweat capital mean yet. Them not start use it. Sweat equity. So them not do that. But you just get up one day and you just say, oh yeah, that's why we need NARA. Aspects of NARA unconstitutional while the bill passed. And no matter how you try to tell them that these are problematic, nobody listens to you. I, for one, painstakingly did everything to support that bill. I want the people to get money as fast, and I want Jamaica to move forward. But at the same time, people must understand that is not the answer. Money was sent for the people of Jamaica. Food was sent for the people of Jamaica, and it spoiled. It happened in burial. Hundreds of millions of dollars untouched from burial, still not spent and not accounted for, not handed over to the Ministry of Finance, not handed over so the money can be spent, so it can go through the channels to be able to reach the people who need it, the people that poor. And you have bloggers on there, when you beg the little money for make sure so the people them get it, at least you can go ask the people them of Portland Eastern, any dollar that was ever sent is them get it. Every tin of mackerel that was ever sent is them get it. So you see, it's so important that you don't, every time when you red tape thing and talk about clogs and fetters, and then people don't get what they are supposed to get. I'm telling you, it's a painful exercise. But you see, because me is not versed with the Queen's English and me is just a Rasta man, me just I go just make the people them way them have them speaky spokey, we can make people take them serious, since I know everybody then take serious. So here I'm introducing to you Senator Cleveland.
Is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
This is Senator Cleveland Tomlinson, Deputy Spokesperson, Productivity, Efficiency and Competitiveness. It is unconscionable and scandalous that the government sat and donated money while thousands of Jamaicans suffered. People were hungry. People were sleeping under damaged roofs or no roofs at all. Families were struggling to rebuild their lives, and the money donated by generous Jamaicans and well-wishers to help them was simply sitting idle, going nowhere. Unlike the government, the facts are honest. The Auditor General confirmed that 88% of the $1.4 billion in Hurricane Melissa donations remain uncommitted. Not just unspent, uncommitted, meaning there was no plan, no contract, no obligation to deploy them. Bureaucracy slows spending, but it does not prevent a government from committing funds. So the question that must be asked is why, several months after Hurricane Melissa, did 88% of donated funds have no commitment whatsoever attached to them? And this appears to be a pattern, because we must recall that the Auditor General said that $138 million from hurricane burial donations in 2024 sat idle and was never reported to the Ministry of Finance as required by the law. Senator Morgan cannot credibly blame red tape for money that was never directed anywhere. These are not bureaucratic delays. This is a governance failure. Jamaicans who donated in good faith deserve accountability, and we're calling on the government to immediately publish a transparent expenditure plan for all outstanding disaster relief funds.
Visit our website at pnp.org.jm or check us out on Facebook at Jamaica PNP.
Yeah, so I would say this. Even as even right now, as I'm about to say this, there are persons who their house mash up. There are persons who didn't even have the know-how or the wherewithal to go to NIS. There are persons who, and I can tell you about Portland, who, because they said that they are JLP, their pride and their ambition, rightly so, say they're not even going to go to the MP office. And so they would have been left out in the cold because they didn't know where to go to get their assistance, no matter how you reach out. There's no system in place that was able to go and find the lived human experience. Me not talk geotagging and infrared and drone. Me not talk about go and see. And then you see Jamaica, it's so ironic. In the narrow, they had to push for them to define resilience. And there's a reason why I did that, and I want people to understand this. So you can look. I see people and bloggers talking about PNP, the whole of the PNP, them hate this and hate that. Go look. The government accepted amendments coming from me. And the reason why resilience has to be defined. If you don't know now, you make I tell you something about Jamaican people, the most resilient set of people where I ever see in real time. So no man and no woman, especially when them come from country. We can't speak for town people because something wrong with town people. But my country people, you think them are gonna just stay out, them just are gonna just stay out and not fend for themselves. There are people that understand that Jamaica is a high crime society and them have to fend for themselves and find ways to survive. So nobody never go wait for no MP and no government for come put on back them roof. Them go take up all zinc and pitch it up. You know how much time rain falls since Melissa? Can't even count on my finger. Yeah? Believe me when I tell you that. Straight up. And it's very, very interesting. And so for those reasons, you would have to sit and understand that there are people, then they say you don't qualify because when they come to assess, your roof is already on. And yes, it is true. Government don't have no duty to give back people no house. They don't. They can help some people, but they do. Jamaica don't have no money. Nobody don't have no money for help everybody. We know that. But we're not talking about you not having no money for help everybody. You're in power from burial. Give the people them the burial money. You know them close off the burial thing and people still waiting to get them burial check and never get it. Now here comes Melissa and people still need help. Every day people at my office needed roofing material and housing material to not just to build back, but to put themselves in a structure that can prepare for the hurricane that coming this year. Because woe beyond, Jamaica not ready. And you don't believe me? A $2 million them say for drain cleaning mitigation, disaster mitigation. You know what's drain? Huh? So that's so important. Somebody says, FYI, the Oxford Dictionary officially includes patois. Does Jamaica officially include patois? Does it recognize patois? Is it a language? Is it taught in schools? Is it on the curriculum? Is it mandatory? Is it compulsory that as a Negro or as a out of many one Jamaican, you're required to speak it? FYI. But anyway, let's not detract. It's 5 o'clock. I'll see you at the top of the hour. We're currently at the Laura restaurant in Port Antonio. Let me tell you something. We are excited to say that we just concluded a sit-down meet and greet with the beautiful ladies of the Miss Universe pageant, the Portland chapter. And it was very entertaining, exciting, and more than anything, memorable.
Hi, my name is Celine Hall, Miss ASAP Express Limited. Having this level of support shows that we're part of something truly powerful, and it definitely pushes us to show up with even more purpose.
So while the main mission of the Alligator Aid Foundation is to look at environmental conservation, there's a recognition that conservation can't be done in isolation, and in order for it to work, we need to have the support of the community. So we felt it was important to sponsor this competition because this competition seeks to empower young women young women who can become stewards for environmental conservation.
It was truly a honor having Mr. Isaac Buchanan engage with us today. I felt really empowered from this session, and it was a real reminder that this pageant journey is more than just looking beautiful. It is inspiring, and I feel very empowered. Thank you.
So I would want the MP to know that women in Portland are not in one box anymore. Gone are the days when women have been the stereotypical roles of nurses and teachers. So even in the pageant, we have women in quantity surveying, women in plant biology, women in veterinary science. So I wanted to know that women are becoming more multifaceted and more multidimensional, and we are such unique creatures.
On behalf of the Miss Universe Jamaica Portland contestants and our wider team, of course, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to you. It is not every day that we get an opportunity like this to speak with a man of such prestige and to be given information of such quality. One memorable piece of information that I can say I got from this meet is to be memorable. And I'm sure we all share the same sentiment, be memorable. And that is something I will leave here and forever remember to be memorable. Thanks again.
I'm pretty much going to say right now that Jamaica, when you watch it, Portland is coming for the title. Do that and beat we. Where is it? All right. So watch the ride. Prediction right here.
Miss Universe Jamaica Portland.
It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard that life much better. You live it your own way. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better. You live it your own way.
Welcome back. Before I start, I want to say, look on the image, look on the monitor and tell me if you recognize these persons. Somebody loading. So this summer, you might want to go to the pool. You might want to, you know what, let me leave this one alone. All right, so we was on the commercial break and you're tuned into Context Matters, and if you're watching me from Reggae Global Radio, welcome back. If you're watching me from TikTok and YouTube. Big up yourself. And for those of you who are on your way home commuting and the traffic is being not so nice to you and you listen to me through Best FM 100, big up yourself. We are talking about the truth behind the lies, excuses versus reality. And, you know, topic has been, I don't even know where to start. You know, a sad reality in terms of where we are now as a people who are recovering from Hurricane Melissa, as a people who have to contend with the realities of oil prices going, causing food, causing just our livelihoods to be at risk. Um, you know, we a simple thing like going from point A to point B and how unnecessarily expensive it is, and it might not seem like anything this week, but if it continues, and if you are a citizen who is keen on being economically conservative, if you're somebody who budgets and manages your affairs in a way that you want to advance your life, you're probably paying student loan, you're probably dealing with other family issues, and you're trying to run a business while working and pull things and keep everything together. The simple changes has a ripple effect into your existence. You know, and food security is always going to be the order of the day, whether or not you're in a position to manage that, whether or not you're able to survive. Can you still go to the gas pump, or if not the gas pump, can you still go into the supermarket and be able to survive at the level you were? If you're middle class, have you fallen off the middle class? I don't think Jamaica has a middle class, but some people know that they're not poor, so but they know they're not rich, so they're a part of the working class and survival class. But wherever you are on the spectrum is a very weird reality. We somebody says yes, there is. So instead of this, I mean, I understand the King's English, they know what you do. Well, but so yeah, and somebody did say yes, there is a middle class. And somebody said rubbish. The government spent 64 billion, way more than the 1.4 billion donated. Sensationalism. I donated and I'm good with what the government is doing. That's nice. So you don't that's nice. I'm happy. I'm happy. Did you donate $1.4 billion, or you just come to rubbish the conversation by just talking rubbish? But everybody has an opinion. That's another thing. Let's talk about opinions. Because just because you have an opinion doesn't mean that it works. And the government can say that they spend $64 billion, but that just might not be true. What is important, and the purpose of this conversation, which is why context matters. No, you can't troll me, you know. I'm uncontrollable. So you can't troll me. So here's what I'm saying. What you need to understand is that if the aid is not reaching the people, it doesn't matter how much money is spent. That is what it is. Telling me that we went to every parish and we gave out fish wires, and Portland Eastern didn't even get one wire, is not helping. Saying, hey, we fixed 200 roads and the roads where I live are not fixed, is not helping. That's not helping. Systematically, there has to be a way for people to receive the prosperity. But the reality is that people stop talking about prosperity. We're talking about build back better now. That's where we are. That conversation about prosperity is completely dead. And the people who are running up and down talking about prosperity, miss me with that. You are out there and you're suffering, and your life is experiencing hardship, and performative prosperity is nonsense. And that is why the sooner people get to recognize the truth behind the lies and stop making excuses to say that their government is doing its best. I never said they're not doing their best, but they can do better. For instance, even if you spend $64 billion, we don't want your $64 billion. We want some of the money where them send from America for me. For me, I'm a friend them. For me and the people that we're not work. We're not working. You understand? We want some other money there. We want to be able to start up a thing now. Melissa gone back to business now. We want to start up with life too. We want that. Yeah? So this thing where you turn the lived human experience into statistics, I'm not accepting that. I know what's in the Constitution. I know the importance of human rights. So we're having that conversation about including the people of Jamaica in anything that's happening, including the benefit. So where that is lost is where there is a lacuna in the conversation. And there are many things that happens, and there's many selective things, and some people get favor and some people get none. Small island behavior. And the problem is that Jamaica is not big enough to carry on the level of discrimination that takes place in this country. And discrimination is not racism. It has become classism. And so when we look at that reality, and when we look at how we have people's mothers and fathers, sons and daughters begging for scarce resources that when you give it to them, it's not going to change their life. If somebody signed up to get $20,000 from last year September and get it all the way in the first week of May or the last week of April, you know how many things that have come up since then? It hasn't even set a dent, hasn't even put a dent in the needs that is there for them. And this thing about one-time payments, and then you get up and you said how much millions of dollars it is. I don't think people understand that. And the simplicity of math, because if you give $20,000, just remember, if you're going to give 10 people $100,000, that's $1 million. Yeah? Just 10 people. So when they look on you and say, you're going to go clean, you do great drain cleaning in your constituency, here is $2 million. 20 people is not going to get $100,000 to get that job done. You're not giving anybody anything to impact their lives. You're not stopping a gap. You're not allowing people to breathe. And this is in the face of people talking about making sure Hunter virus is not here. The worst flu is going around. The worst flu possible. People can't even afford to be sick. Can't even take off from work. You can't even afford to be sick because you can't get treatment at hospital. And then statistics come out and say, Oh, 1 million people interface with the hospital. 20 million people, not 20 million people in Jamaica, you know, but they interface over and over, the interactions. Yeah? These things are real. And then if you think it's a lie, remember, you know, you have high schools right now that's canceling the feeding program, the PATH program, because they don't have the resources. So to hear in any space that resources are being held from burial until now, there's not an excuse that can be given to say that we are accepting this or that this makes sense. It is unfortunate, right? It is that which we just ought not to accept, respectfully. I'm going to say it like that. But I sit and I'm very hopeful about the future of Jamaica. And it requires persons to have a critical thinking mind, a mind that thinks critically, a mind that analyzes, a mind that has a vision for the next generation of this country. It requires persons to say that I might not benefit now, but you see my children, my grandchildren, the generations that follows if I have none, we cannot continue like this. So if you are wherever you are, I mean, you may be in America and it may be snowing right now where you are or not, and you get to go in the mall when you're ready and you get to do what you want to do, so you're living good in America. We understand these things. Yes, all these things are important, but what I will say to you is think about the children and the future of the next generation. That's what I'm saying, because what's happening now is not it. Yeah, it absolutely is not it, and I want you to appreciate this. We cannot just sit and accept an autopilot behavior. We cannot just allow human rights breaches and violations to take place and think it is okay. I'm going to say it again. Wherever you are in the world, to be on the human index from an economical plane, you're not living unless you're working 650,000 Jamaican dollars a month. So if you're surviving on less than that, you're not a human from an economic standpoint. You're surviving. You don't have no room to breathe. If something happened to you or your family, many things turn upside down. Right? This is important for you to appreciate and understand. So these things that we accept as the norm, or accept that this is our reality and we just have to deal with it as it comes. It can't work so. Right? I sit and I'm gonna raise this right now, because if Hunter virus comes to Jamaica, That's another disaster that we're going to have to deal with. It means economies that are dead, like the economy of Portland Eastern, the local economy, is going to become the valley of the shadow of death because they're going to tell you to stay inside and don't come out of your house. And it's easy to say that because let me tell you something, it won't affect the elite of this country. It will not. So when lockdown come, me not gonna get locked down. No affect me. So people gonna say, I said shut up, it don't affect you, but it affect the people who I am responsible for. So when I become an alarmist and I speak out against it, it's for the people, it's not for me. And people the sooner people get to realize that it's just the truth. You speak the truth, and then people are going to be upset about it. And then somebody saying, I said, when is the protest? I need to know so I can submit vacation and buy my plane ticket. It's about protesting. I see people want to block roads, and people want to curse to get, the attention. They want to get the attention of government because they want something to change. Let me tell you something. Melissa only show up what was already bad with Jamaica. The diaspora can help by directly impacting the lives of the people. The diaspora is the biggest help to Jamaica, and they don't get the credit for it. And that's one of the things. Last year, the diaspora was able to donate about 3,650 something. So I don't know what it is now. Tablets. And that's to the children of Portland Eastern. You know how much the government has given? 10. And when they speak about it, they times that 10 by 60, by 63, and then say 630 tablets. But they only impact 10. And you know how much children in a constituency? About 8,000, sometimes 9,000. It just depends on which constituency. But for Portland Eastern, 8,000 plus children. And so we experienced COVID, and we saw the deficit. We saw the percolating of dunceness because students weren't able to go to school. They didn't have the electronic devices, and when they did have electronic devices, they never had internet. And there's nothing in place to ensure that these things were provided in the event that something comes up. And now the narrative starts. They start a war, and in the middle of the war being started, you see these cruise ships coming and hunt a virus, and people are dying. Right? Yes, I recall the diaspora protesting. I know all of that. But I'm saying, when you're standing in solidarity, some of the best ways to stand in solidarity is to put your money where your mouth is. If you don't like something, you have to advocate to change it. And the best way to do that is to, one, withhold money from one set of people and facilitate money to the other set. The people must be able to get access to basic stuff. And what I mean by basic, Pampers for the elderly. And let me tell you something. It's not bright. I'm not extraordinarily bright and brilliant, My mother, every time she go foreign, my mother said, me whole now, son, and always think about the old people. And my mother always, once she touched Jamaica, she bring Pampers and she bring Ensure for the people of Portland Eastern. And I dare not bright myself and give it anywhere else. And I always say, big up my mother. As my mother met me know, say I can, yes, the Reverend Dr. John Portius makes me know that when it comes to charity, when it comes to humanity, there are some classes of people that's going to need it more. Yeah? And don't ever forget about them. And that's what the diaspora is required to do. That's what the diaspora is doing for Portland Eastern. That's why the charities still continue to bring the food items, even when governments say, oh, we're done with that now. We're gone into the building phase. But the people are still hungry. Yeah. And so when I look at that, yeah, I said that. My mother reached here before Mother's Day, and what she do, she bring Pampers for the people of Portland, for the people of Portland Eastern. And ask them, when you see them, ask them if them come to the office and them need the Pampers, depends for the elderly if them not get it. It's always there. And it dies for many persons, they just send it and it's constantly there. That is how you help the people. Same thing, young girls are in school and you always have to make sure that you have pad and tampons for them. These are things that they cannot afford because they're not working. Where would they be working? And schools don't have these things. And there are schools that are trying, but they're going to run out because these things are a reality. These are basic necessities that must be provided. And as a nation, we have to think about that because we're talking about health. We're talking about hygiene. And it's a topic that people don't like to raise. But let me tell you something, toothbrush and toothpaste, I always want to give that away. And deodorant. So when somebody says, what should the diaspora do? And the diaspora is they're in countries where you can cut out coupons as a hobby. And whatever you get from the coupon, so you have to spend the money, you just use the coupon, put it in a barrel, and when the time comes, ship it. And that's goods that come into the country. And I can tell you, it's each one, teach one, help one, a neighbor help a neighbor. Those are the things that you have to do. Right? Because that is just the reality. Somebody says America has it. I don't know. I didn't see that. Oh, coupons. Right. America does it. But I'm saying, just depends on where you are. But we have to think about who we are protecting, who we are assisting, because that is going to be first principles. So we have to prioritize because the excuses is not going to help. And we have to know who doing what. What you're not going to see me doing. I am never going to be in an argument and a fight and a curse out about the things that are supposed to be done and who are supposed to do it. I ask my questions, I get my answers, and nothing can change the narrative. I see my colleagues have to be doing press release, have to be doing press conference about roads because people in their constituencies believe that they are responsible for the roads when it's central government who is responsible for the roads. And when central government is doing a fine work at the PR and able to say, we are doing this amount of roads and how much kilometer worth of road. Let me tell you something. Me no need to take up no ruler and no measuring tape and find out how much kilometers, Me no need to do that. Me just know say the road fix and no pothole nothing in there, drain for them on the side, the drain for your work and the drain for clean, and a government responsible for all of that. Me not care if you want to call it spark, reach, niche, pitch, patch, itch, scratch. Don't test, little fool, don't test. Anything you want to call it. Me not care if you want to get Stephen McGregor and Faye Ellington for doing song and call it Hill and Gully Ride out, patch up the road, Hill and Gully Ride out, patch up the road. Anything you want to do. Whatever program you want to call it, just fix it. And the people know that's what you voted for. You voted for the Jamaica Labour Party to fix your roads. When in life do you come to the MP and say my road not fixed? Because my only answer is, as soon as I see the Prime Minister, I'm going to ask him for you. And as soon as I see the Minister, I'm going to ask him for you. And every Tuesday when we see them, you can ask them. Me ask them. Ask the Agricultural Minister, Floyd Green. Every time I see him, I say, where the fish wire there for the people them of Portland Eastern? I know he's going to give it eventually. But I do what I am supposed to do. So when the people of Portland Eastern, when the taxi man them say, yo, the road them bad, I'm going to block the road, I say, yo, you know, say me have my cartridge paper, you know, say me have my marker. What a day, what a time, because me ready for write up. We want justice, we want road. Pitch, patch, itch, scratch, Hill and Gully Ride out, pitch, patch, yeah. Don't test like a fool, don't test. Me dead a feet. Because that is what I can do, because you chose the government, Jamaica. So whatever is there, you chose it. And the Prime Minister made it clear. He said, Buchanan, member from Portland Eastern, you're young, you're new in this. Don't make those people down there make you think you are supposed to be fixing roads, central government. And now that we have the NARA, we're going to build a parliament first, and you're going to get a nice chair, and it's going to be fluffy, and you're going to make sure your back don't hurt you. And because you're a TikToker, I know that you want to have UPS and UBS, and you want to have charging port and internet right there, and you want a button that can press, and that button going to say, member from Portland has requested to speak. Yeah, man. My Prime Minister, that how you feeling? Because we have to get our parliament building before any house fix and any road fix. We are the elite. Yeah, man. Sonara do it. So don't feel one thing. AC have to work in a parliament. Because we can't work in a hot sun. Nara do that. So I want to make sure I'm happy about that. That's the kind of realities that we need to understand. So I know what to cry for and cry about, and I know what my capacity is. But if you feel, say, your road have a fix before my mic work in a parliament, you make a sad mistake. Yeah? You feel mad? So anyway, me don't say when me have to step on that, because once you separate the truth or you find the truth behind the lies, there are no excuses. Right? Somebody say me look just like the Prime Minister. I don't know. It's true me ugly, but I don't know if them are trying this the Prime Minister on the style, but that's so. But anyway, it's just important for people to understand that all of us here on this island is looking for better. Every single one of us. And if you can't appreciate that, if you go downtown and you just pass the people them on the street, the people that them sleep right at Supreme Court, you know. Them sleep right at the Supreme Court. And this of them sleep. The biggest case in a Jamaica could have gone a death of them sleep. Police SWAT team come, barrier put up, a death of them sleep. Then you have all your clean clothes and the police say you can't walk there so. And you look right by the barrier and you see a madman stay so and him just asleep. Because there's him there in Liver Supreme Court. You might can't walk up and down in the building, but a film address that. And these are realities. But nobody see the least among us. Yeah? Desmond Mackenzie saying build the shelter. The people them say, but I live on King Street. What's your address? Supreme Court, new building. Another one says Supreme Court, old building. Another one say, yeah, right side of Court of Appeal. On my side that the royal families of the homeless that live down there. It could be a series on TVJ. CVM now go carry. Yeah. And they have to survive. And when we start seeing Jamaica and knowing that, yeah, when housing solutions come, them people must get house too. And they must have social workers to give them reintegration. That is what resilience in Nara means. That is what we hope for. The resilience that we talk about is to rehabilitate and reintegrate people into society. And the government has a robust outpatient mental health care thing, you know. Is always the access is the problem. And we're spending a lot of time and a lot of resources on this crime fighting, not realizing that poverty is where the real crime is. And we're turning ordinary citizens into criminals. And so we criminalize them so them can't get them police report, so them can't come off of the rock. Right? This is a reality. And people can accept it or people can reject it. But as I said, we have to look. What's the excuse? And I always remind people, you know, because people like to say me chat too much. But I don't know what excuse any able-bodied man or woman could have in this country, knowing, say, education breaks the shackles of poverty. And so when your mother and father send you go to school, if you go take your book, you know, if you take nothing else but your book. Bounty Killer say, book. You have to pressure your book. And somehow I think people lose their way when it comes to that. Right? So you have to appreciate that. Once you understand that. So that's why in Portland, Eastern, CDF and $9 million. And you have to see how when the mother them don't even want them pick, they come beg for the money. And beg is saying it loosely. Apply for the grant, which them have to get. Because we don't want nobody done in Portland, you know. So once you're there university, you one grant have to get it some way, somehow. And the younger you are, is the more likely you're gonna get the grant. Because you don't work nowhere. Yeah, I use a patois phrase. Yeah, I'm just this week, I'm gonna pull me up and say, listen, my daughter applied. I'm gonna say, but mama, I know you apply, you now go to school, where you rough me up for. She say, we are going to school. And the light come on in my head. Because the mother say, but we are going to school. So that is a mother that is say she living for the future. Because she knows that once we are going to school, and I watch just this year, I watch a lady daughter graduate as a medical doctor. Now I call her name because I get permission, and it is a beautiful feeling because we graduate. And so families, don't give up on your children. Encourage them for the education, because there are no excuses. As long as you get your education and you get your letters, you will find your way. That is one thing I can tell you. Yes. So, having said that, just want to make it clear that whatever it is that the government is going to do, the aid that came to Jamaica, 1.44 billion collected, was always for the people. And there was nothing fancy about it. And I'll go as far to say that it was for the people in the parishes that were mostly affected. That is where the hearts of the diaspora and friends of the diaspora were focused on. And I take no objection if that money was sent and divided equally among those persons only. None. Because I better somebody get it than nobody get it. Huh. You must decide. I said we comment on YouTube, Me read the comments. The comments must make sense. I will show your comment. Your comment said, look at the Excelsior who was and the needed supplies worth tens of thousands her mother has to provide, or the remaining surgery can't be done. Exactly. But there's nothing in place for that. But I'm going to address something. And as for young people, you can't be drinking special. You can't be drinking rum and boom. You can't be smoking anything you and your friend them wrap up and do it as morning light and night light. And then when your liver start from the work and your kidney start from the work, you want the country find the money for you get medical assistance from your habits. That cannot be right. Your body is a temple. You are to respect your body in every way. Right? We have to think about that. Somebody says, my big question is, what about that, the blocking of that NARA bill? I don't know. On this, remember, on this platform, we only speak English. All right? English. Can't interpret that. Just retype it so we can get an idea of really what you're saying. What about the blocking of the NARA bill? Help me with that. I don't even want to move on till you fix it. Please. Small World 4139. Help me with that. Waiting on your response. Right, so Mr. B, when NARA roll out, I'm certain you will be the busiest MP in Parliament. Well, NARA roll out, NARA pass and NARA rolling out. Just, you wish them the best. For the sake of the people, government should not fail. We don't want government to fail the people. That is the message. That's what we're looking for. Because if it's not done properly, and rights are violated, and human suffrage is rampant, yeah, that's a trip down to the court. Is there any alternative to having that NARA bill non-effective. Yeah, go into court. Go into court. But that's yet to be defined and yet to see where that is. So I've exhausted what I was saying. I really think though that we ought to have the conversations and not just let this thing just die out like it's nothing. Nobody's answering for these realities, you know. Not a soul is answering. The most embarrassing part of it is that burial money have not been spent and accounted for. And here comes Melissa funds. And people need money right now in Jamaica. They need it. Lots of it. So their lives can change. And if you know how hard some of us work to make sure that people get scarce resources, but people spend time cursing you and cursing you. Yeah? When you're doing what you have to do, you have to find alternative ways to ensure that the people in your constituency is okay. Because otherwise, nothing comes to help the people. But, you know, Labor Day is coming up. Things have to be done. So certainly in Portland, we still have to look to how we improve the hospital space. That is in the works. And we don't sit and be unkind, and we don't sit and be ungrateful. We just know that, you know, once you anchor your expectation on God, these things work themselves out. That is for certain. But to turn during the break, I'd played a video, and I'm gonna replay it now because let me tell you something. I'm so sure that Portland is going to win Miss Universe. So sure of it that we're going to watch the ride, don't? So let me share the video during real time and then we do a comment. Isa Buchanan, Member of Parliament for Portland Eastern, and we're currently at the Laura restaurant in Port Antonio. Let me tell you something, we are excited to say that we just concluded a sit-down meet and greet with the beautiful ladies of the Miss Universe pageant, the Portland chapter, and it was very entertaining, exciting, and more than anything, memorable.
Hi, my name is Celine Hall, Miss ASAP Express Limited. Having this level of support shows that we're part of something truly powerful, and it definitely pushes us to show up with even more purpose.
So while the main mission of the Alligator Foundation is to look at environmental conservation, there's a recognition that conservation cannot be done in isolation, and in order for it to work, we need to have the support of the community. So we felt it was important to sponsor this competition because this competition seeks to empower young women who can become stewards for environmental conservation.
It was truly a honor having Mr. Isaac Buchanan engage with us today. I felt really empowered from this session, and it was a real reminder that this pageant journey is more than just looking beautiful. It is inspiring, and I feel very empowered. Thank you.
So I would want the MP to know that women in Portland are not in one box anymore. Gone are the days when women have been the stereotypical roles of nurses and teachers. So even in the pageant, we have women in quantity surveying, women in plant biology, women in veterinary science. So I wanted to know that women are becoming more multifaceted and more multidimensional, and we are such unique creatures.
On behalf of the Miss Universe Jamaica Portland contestants and our wider team, of course, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to you. It is not every day that we get an opportunity like this to speak with a man of such prestige and to be given information of such quality. One memorable piece of information that I can say I got from this meet is to be memorable. And I'm sure we all share the same sentiment, be memorable. And that is something I will leave here and forever remember, to be memorable. Thanks again.
I'm pretty much going to say right now that Jamaica, when you watch it, Portland is coming for the title. Do that and beat we. Wait a second. All right. So watch the ride. Prediction right here.
Miss Universe Jamaica Portland.
Yeah, so congratulations to Celine, Miss ASAP, for taking the Portland crown. Miss Universe Portland. She goes on along with another contestant who I'm telling you, watch them. They're gonna pull the upset. Portland always pulls the upset, and watch and see. So that's my prediction. But to say that when you look at all of the ambition, beauty, intelligence, confidence coming out of Portland, you get a sense of how disconnected governance can be, because the failure to capitalize on the human potential is my complaint. You cannot be governing a country and leave out the people. And I'm not talking about, everybody have them people and things, but you have some talented people all across Jamaica that's just not being seen. Notice I'm not taking my context matters, my platform, to talk about I show speed. I'm not doing that. What I will say though is that our young talent, our youth, they have a lot of energy, a lot of creativity going on right in their spaces. Shout out to Anansi man out of Portland again, who they are finding their way in spaces where nothing not there. That level of ambition. And I just want people to appreciate just that aspect of it and how significant it is. Because other places in Jamaica similarly have talents that is just being wasted. And I will never not end my show saying that for every time a life is taken by whether by the bad man or by the police, it is an opportunity lost by our society, creativity stolen, and Jamaica robbed of something great. Because if we discard people from mistakes, boy, where would I be? And I'm gonna leave it like that, to say, support your people, support the people that support you. That's where I'm gonna always be going up, because it is you who have gone out into the world and know that more and better is out there, but know that the potential of Jamaica could be so much more if given attention. And we're gonna deal with that and accept that. But again, We're not taking excuses. We're finding the truth behind all the lies, and we're living in our reality. And there really are no excuses. Jamaica is a beautiful place with the greatest amount of potential, greatest abilities. And I can tell you that I'm a son of Jamaica that realized some of my potential right here in Jamaica, educated in Jamaica, educated in Jamaica, and saying this and repeating it for young people to know with the greatest of mistakes made in my life and the ability to correct it here in Jamaica. Never forgot nowhere else. And if that isn't something to know that Jamaica isn't lost, Jamaica just needs direction and guidance for the people, by the people, to benefit the people. I mean, once we think that way, we rid ourselves of the excuses and the PR and I'm not even gonna call it misinformation, the directed information, yeah, and continue to support our people, and that's that. And I will see you guys next week. And again, the tablet drive is going on. I'm not seeing the we're not support it the way on the support it, and the children, the parents are coming to the office asking for the tablets, and I know we're gonna get it done. So big up on yourself, and I see you guys next week. This has been Context Matters, May 14th.
It took some time to understand, yeah, just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Like growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You know I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving, moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to you're living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up.